Hello, welcome. I'm so excited about our guest.
I'm very excited, but I have to ask you first. Did you do your hair this morning? Because I'm looking at you, and I'm curious. I think you need to let everybody know. So Jessica's in New York right now, and I'm in Los Angeles. And I just drove here, and it's kind of, it's a little cloudy. It's a little sunny. It's all good. I'm feeling chill. Jessica, what was your ride to work today like?
Well, I might have woken up early so that I could take a shower and blow dry my hair before, getting breakfast and the kids off to school, and then hopping on my train where, it was a little bit cloudy. Not a big deal. Arrived at Grand Central, jumped off my train, walked into Madison Avenue around 42nd Street, and an apocalyptic, severe thunderstorm with epic proportions of rain, maybe not coming down in drops. I don't think there were drops involved. It was actual
buckets,
sheets and gallons that were being poured on top of me and my teeny tiny little umbrella.
Yeah.
That I was trying to cover my body, my purse, my shoes, all of it. Yeah. And again, a little bit of fear because of just the sheer sound of the sky cracking open above me. And then I got to my destination because I got my nails done before this, and I'm very excited about that. Very cute. And when I got there, I felt free to take off my shoes because it was a problem. I was sloshing in them. Yeah. And after taking off my shoes, I looked at them and they were like teeny tiny little swimming pools.
They are.
It was like an above ground swimming pool.
Yeah, you swam your way to work today. I swam your way to work.
So yes, my hair does not look like it did when I did it. So thank you for noticing.
No.
Other people have commented that it has a little volume.
Sure,
so
you could call it
I don't know.
Yeah.
You could call it that, but you're going to call it what it is, which is fucking weird. My hair looks like we're just going to call it.
I'm glad you're here though.
Tell me about how you got here. What was your prep?
Well, because we have a special guest today, and it is our first guest, I left the house this morning and I was a little bit nervous. And my husband was trying to get me to he's like, just deep, breathe. It's going to be great. And then as I was walking out the door, he did something super cute. And he was like, wait. And he ran. And so from the Eras tour, I have all of my Taylor Swift bracelets in this little glass container up in my bathroom. And he came running down. It's so cute. I'm going to show the podcast camera. Hang on. It's so cute. He pulled a bracelet and he put it on my wrist, and it says Fearless on it.
Aww.
And I just thought that was so cute.
Oh, that's so cute.
So I'm going to be wearing it the whole podcast to just remind myself that it's going to be great.
Yes, it is. Point for Matt.
I know, major point for Matt. But I'm so. Can I tell you something? Our first guest. Let's just say who our first guest is. Let's just say it.
Well, our first guest is none other than Mandy Moore. Mandy Moore is our first guest.
Can I tell you a story about college? When I was in college for the whole 6 months I was there before I dropped out, my roommate was so obsessed with A Walk to Remember.
Yes, that was the first one.
You knew I was going to say it.
I knew it because that's the first one. That's where you fall in love. It's a starting point for all Mandy Moore fans.
A Walk to Remember that we literally, so we had one of those old little huge, TVs in our dorm room. She had to watch it every single day. And it may have even been on VHS, but it was every single day, crying every single day. Because by the way, when you watch that movie, every time you're surprised she's dying. Mm-hmm, every time it's a reveal, you're like, wait, what?
Because you don't want it to be true.
You don't want it to be true.
Yeah.
You're hoping you got some sort of bootleg version of it that's changed the ending.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. A little choose your own adventure. I choose her not dying.
I choose
her living. Die. I choose life for her and Shane West. That's what I choose.
100%. Did you have a little crushy on Shane West? Didn't everybody?
Well, here's the funny thing. He's not my type typically. And that movie just crossed types. It crossed across. It didn't matter if he was my type. He was the type that she liked and loved. And so, yeah. No, yeah, for sure. Remember then he went on to ER. Remember that?
We don't talk about competition medical shows, Jess.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
God's sake. Can't even believe you mentioned that.
Oh,
Lord.
Goodness. I have a family connection to ER, so I have to celebrate ER.
It's okay. I know you do.
I know. like
let it slide.
All right. But I feel like I actually need, only because you told the sweet story about Matt. I do have to say,
okay,
I kind of lied in the beginning of my day. Can I come clean? Well, I lied when I didn't lie. I did. I lied. I said that I got ready this morning in time to, get breakfast for the kids and then get out the door. But I didn't. I woke up and I got ready. I got me ready, and Christopher got the kids ready.
Christopher's listening to this podcast right now thinking, excuse me.
So he would be okay with that, but I think it's actually the right thing to do, to say that I had nothing to do with breakfast this morning. Christopher did it all, and then I was just there to kiss them sweetly before they walked out the door. Okay, I can't wait to talk to her. I can't wait.
Let's bring her in. Hi,
Mandy. Hi, guys.
Hi. I already want your haircut.
Yes. I'm not
I knew
surprised.
this was going to happen.
How are you, ladies?
You're amazing.
This beginning might have some lopsided energy because we might be really very, very much more excited to have you than you might be to be with us. Because
what are you talking about?
Well, we've been side texting.
We've been side texting. Well, first off, call it you're our first guest. Call it our first guest on the podcast.
Our first guest.
Yes.
Holy cow.
Yes. And by the way, we have fans already trying to figure out who it is, and we haven't said it yet. And so they're going to be so excited that
honored. Beyond honored. Come on.
I love it.
Wow.
Yes, but we have had a side. This is going to be embarrassing, but we're just going to say it. We've had a side text going on all week, and Jessica and I
about you and all your awesomeness, which is what's creating my feeling of lopsided love. But don't worry, we're going to push through it.
We've been arguing over who you would be best friends with more.
Yeah,
because out of the both of us.
Well, I'll let you know the answer at the end.
Okay,
I would appreciate that. I would appreciate that.
No. You know what? Because one of my arguments is, Mandy, we would be in the same grade at school. So I feel like it's like, because what year did you graduate?
2002.
Yes. In the house. See? There's already a bond going on, Jess. Don't worry about it. We were also discussing how we realized you were on Grey's Anatomy before we were on Grey's Anatomy.
I was thinking about that earlier. Yeah.
Did you know that your shooter episode is like the fan favorite episode?
Is it?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is a dark fan favorite.
It is, but it's
because it makes you feel all the things. And also, that's a lot of episodes. So you should be, I think that's a big accomplishment.
I again, also honored to be a part of that conversation. That's so wild. Wow.
Do you remember shooting it?
I do. I remember being really intimidated. I'd never really done television before, especially not like an episode of like television drama. And I was such a Grey's fan. So and working with Chandra, like I was just, it was all so overwhelming. And I felt like, such a newbie in that world. But everyone was so kind. And yeah, it was just, I just remember feeling like reading the script, and it was so intensely emotional that it was easy to feel that in the moment there. It all felt so real. Like I'd never worked on a project quite like that before, where there was so much going on. Like it was so visceral. It was a wild moment.
You were so good.
Yeah. Oh, you're kind. I think I didn't even realize what I was getting myself into. If I had really like thought through it, because I was such a fan of the show, I would have been like even more intimidated. But it was such a fun experience, which sounds odd.
No, it doesn't.
Like, the subject matter and what we were actually doing, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, I would just like to point out really quickly that also I was a fan of Grey's before I came to Grey's Anatomy.
Oh.
Big, huge, like watch it on the night. And I wouldn't even let it get TiVo'd, which is what I think that was happening at that time in life.
Oh, for
and
sure. Yeah,
I would watch it live on the night. So I just want to point out that's something you and I have in common, just in the Jessica column. I'm just saying.
Go already. The competition.
I just wanted to mention it. And then I also wanted to mention that another similarity that you and I have, Mandy, is that we both worked with Chandra Wilson first when we came on as our characters on Grey's Anatomy. I just want to point that out.
Okay, well, that's 2 points for you, but okay.
It's okay.
I'm not intimidated.
She'll have a comeback. Grey's Anatomy. I just want to point that out.
Okay, well, that's 2 points for you, but okay.
It's okay.
Whatever. I'm not intimidated.
She'll have a comeback.
It's fine. It's fine.
Just keep a little running tally on like a sticky note here.
When you signed on for the role, were you aware that you would be part of a shooting episode? Like, how much information did you have?
I remember I had a phone conversation with Shonda Rhimes, and she sort of explained, I believe, like just kind of in layman's terms, sort of like what the layout of the episode was going to be. But I remember her just putting an emphasis on like, we've never done something quite like this before. And I was like, you don't have to convince, like I would like jump at this opportunity to be a part of the show. But it was really lovely for her to sort of explain how the episode sort of fit in the pantheon of Grey's Anatomy. So I did know, and I had read the script, but again, it's like I didn't quite understand the impact. And how many seasons? 21 seasons?
So many.
Like,
Going into
later
21.
that people, like
Yeah.
you mentioned, would still think about that episode and regard it so highly is really, wow.
How cool is that?
It's something.
I'm listening to you talk about this, and I'm thinking that I think we all felt the same about being asked to come onto the show, which is sort of an amazing place to start with, just that sort of unbridled enthusiasm and excitement and genuine understanding and connection to a show that we then got to become a part of. Which is kind of, I mean, most of the time you're starting something and you're it's like brand new runway, right? You don't know anything about it. So we all got to come into that, having it like already be test driven and understanding how phenomenal it was. You know, I was listening to you talk about a couple of different things in your life, and one of them that really stuck out to me, I talked to Camilla about this, was I auditioned for Grey's Anatomy 3 times. Twice I did not get the part. And the third time was because she'd said, Shonda had said, no, I really do. I like her. I want to find a place for her. And finally she did. And I was so excited. But it had really come on the heels of me having not worked for more than a minute and really questioning, like, is this how I want to feel about what I do? Do I want to feel this uphill? Like, I'm all game. Like, I actually don't mind auditioning. I love that kind of stuff. I'm like, let's go. And every time I get an audition, I literally get pregnant with the idea of it. I see myself on set. I'm like, go, go, go. And then it doesn't happen. And you start all over again. And that's either crazy or completely optimistic. But I was feeling that way before I got into Grey's. And I was listening to you talk about the beginning of This Is Us. What did that feel like for you? Like that minute that you knew you got the job? And who told you?
Jessica, I honestly, yes, it is a wild profession that we have all chosen to be artists and to face the kind of rejection that we do, that is just like daily, hourly. Like it is just it. And I honestly, I don't care what sort of level or season you find yourself in or at, like as an actor or a creative person or an artist or however you want to refer to yourself as, I don't care about the success that you've had. Like we all continue to face rejection in all forms. It's just like it is the consistency of what we do, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So you sort of have to buckle up and get used to it. But yes, before This Is Us, I think I had found myself in a position where professionally I felt like I had, like most actors, kind of put myself out there for pilot season. And that became like the time that I was so intensely focused on finding a job and fingers crossed that something was going to go. I was so hopeful to do television and I lived in Los Angeles. So I was like, wow, the idea of doing a show here and being able to come home and sleep in my bed every night, that was the dream of all dreams. And I felt like year after year and pilot season after pilot season, things would never come to fruition. Perhaps I would get a job and get a pilot, which was amazing. And then nothing would come of it. And it just was
waiting for that pickup
and waiting for that pickup, fingers crossed, checking in every day. Is there any word? Do we know what's going on? And finally coming to this realization, I think after 4 failed pilot seasons of, maybe this is the universe telling me that I have had my minute and I'm intensely grateful for it, but it is time to pack up and move on and figure out what the next chapter of my life is going to be. And maybe I'll move back to Florida. Maybe I'll go back to school. Maybe I'll focus on music. Like, I was like, I don't know if like it is in my constitution to be able to like withstand. I was like, I don't know if like it is in my constitution to be able to like withstand this constant stream of rejection all the time. And I remember very viscerally like getting, I had, in business terms, like I just moved to a new agency and hoping that maybe that like new burst of energy might shift the dynamic a little bit. And I remember kind of like all of us discussing, okay, no more traditional network pilot season because man, my soul is just so beaten down. I don't know if that's going to be the ticket for me. If I'm going to stay in this business, like let's focus on other avenues and indie movies and, like streaming shows. And then I remember like 2 weeks later after this meeting, I get a script in my inbox for the Untitled Dan Fogelman project for NBC. And I was like, what?
That's not what the universe wanted. The universe wanted you there. Prime time.
I was like, this is everything we just talked about. I didn't want to do and put myself in the ring again for it. And then of course I read the script and was like, oh, damn, it's really good. And I was like, okay, yeah, I mean, I'll do whatever it takes to be a part of this. And I auditioned and went through that whole process. And anyway, it came down to like 6 weeks later going in for a chemistry read.
Those are fun.
Like, 6 weeks later.
Oh,
I
waiting
hate that
in the waiting room.
You guys. I hate the wait. Okay.
The wait, which at that point you've completely brushed off. Like, okay, this job is not in the realm of possibility.
Oh, see, not me. I'm still like, so how's that going? I'm just going to check in.
I've moved on.
No, I've burned the script.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's in the fire.
I'm still lighting candles and manifesting that. I've got it. It's mine. It's my part.
No, I've taken a candle to the script.
Yes, correct. Same.
Yes.
I've just let it go. I get this call that they're going to do a chemistry read with like a handful of women and a handful of men. And I went in and
crushed it.
I don't know about that, but I went in and read only with Milo, who ended up getting cast as well as my husband on the show. And we, I remember hearing going in that like he was the guy to beat, like that everybody across the board like loved him. And so I remember thinking like, I think this is a good thing that they just had me read with him and not the other two guys that were in the room. But, and then we ended up getting cast, but.
Okay. So who told you? How'd you find out?
My manager called me.
Was it a phone call?
It was a phone call. Yes. And I was so excited, but also like at the same time, I was thrilled, but I remember thinking, oh gosh, like this is going to be a fun job for a couple of days, but inevitably this is what happens. This is my luck. Like this thing won't go forward. Like I remember being on set and Dan Fogelman, who created the show and was our showrunner, he was on set and he was trying to tell Milo and I like his ideas for the show moving forward. And I was like, la, 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 la. I don't want to hear anything because if this doesn't move forward, like I just don't want to continue to be disappointed. And luckily, that wasn't the case.
But listening to you on That Was Us, which is your new podcast, hearing you all talk about the magic of the table read and the shooting of the pilot, I mean, you did know that you had some magic there. You did know that.
For sure. But I mean,
but you can't tell. I feel like you just don't like, you feel, I've heard so many people say like, there was so much magic and I have no idea why it didn't work out.
Yeah.
And I think that we as actors, like, we feel that way. One thing I have to say, Mandy, that I've always thought is that role, and I want to think of myself as like a confident actor. That role would have intimidated me so much. Jumping in like time. Were you going into it and just thinking like, fuck it, I'm going to do it. And just like, or did you have reservations of like, oh my God, can I do this? Because I felt that I would feel that way.
I was so intimidated. Yeah. I mean, the good thing was, when you read a pilot, it's just what's on the page. It's just the first episode. Had I known that the breadth of the show, what the show was really going to be about, how expansive the universe was going to be, I didn't know until the show got picked up and we got that second episode and it was like, oh, we jumped in time 8 years.
Yes.
Okay. We're not telling this story linearly. It's not happening in sequential order. That's cool. But had someone told me at that point, I mean, like, I remember getting this phone call from Dan 3 weeks before we started shooting the second episode. And he was like, so I have this idea for you to play the character present day. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? And we're going to go through like a litany of hair and makeup. If it is unbelievable across the board by any one person, whether it's a producer, the studio, network, whatever, then I think we're all going to like pivot and think about casting an actress who is actually the age of the character. But we'd love to try, like, we want you to try it first. And I was like, okay.
Oh my God.
We went through I remember we went through like six, it was like Goldilocks and the Three Bears. We went through like 6 different iterations of hair and makeup where it was like, this is too old, this is too young, and this is the wrong wig, and this is, and we finally landed on something. And I remember the first thing they made me shoot was a scene with Ron Cephas Jones, like the Ron Cephas Jones. And it's a scene that ended up being in one of the episodes. I believe it was like episode 3. We kind of jumped a little forward. And I was like, this is, you're not only dropping me into being this character present day for the first time, but you're putting me in a scene with like this legend of an actor who is also, 20 years older than me and 30 years older than me. So it's like he is a little more believably, he was playing older than he actually was, but still I was like, oh my gosh, this is
so intimidating.
It's a reverse intimidation. Am I old enough
I'm
looking?
sweating hearing this story. Yeah. I'm sweating.
It's so great hearing. I mean, truly, your new podcast is so you can hear it in all of your voices, the talking about it, and just the insights, and again, just it's such a peek behind the curtain, and I really enjoy it.
Well, but you guys know it's like you are a family. Like you are lucky that you have been woven into the fabric of this like beautiful established thing that is so beloved by people. And it's such a rare thing to find that. It's truly, if you're lucky, it's once in a career, once in a lifetime. And you're so cemented and you're so bonded with these people that you've worked with. I mean, look, you guys are best friends, and it's like your friendship, you've taken it.
We can make room for you though, Mandy. We can make room for you.
I can make room for you. Don't worry about it.
I will happily be the third wheel. But it's just like it's an incredibly special thing, and it's palpable to an audience, and they sense that, and they sense your friendship, and hopefully they sense the friendship that we all had on This Is Us, and it's just so special, and to be able to continue it in some form or fashion is means the world, because it's like
so crazy.
When that special chapter and sort of seminal time in your life ends, and everybody sort of moves on to the next thing and their families and all of that, it's like being able to find any excuse to get together again and chat about things is like it's the best.
I know.
There's no substitute for it.
And it doesn't feel like work. Yeah.
Were you ever pregnant on the show?
Yes, twice.
I was pregnant 3 times, and I had one already. So I was like 3 times, and they never made me pregnant, which obviously they couldn't have never made. You were never pregnant on the show.
I was just.
I mean, your real pregnancy on the show.
Yes, because of us jumping around in time, and at one point in time, my character was pregnant, so we were able to sort of Although I was not as pregnant as I was supposed to be on the show, because I was pregnant with one baby twins instead of with triplets.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's like So that was quite ironic. How did they get around it with you, like shooting with you?
It's so easy for us.
Were you pregnant on the show too?
I was pregnant twice on the show too. Yes.
So you just hide it with cool scrubs and lab coats.
It was hide it, yeah. And I think like Mandy, you gave birth to Gus in 2021.
Yes. Yep.
Spring. Yes. So I was pregnant. I gave birth in 2020. So we went down for shooting because of COVID, which was, I know. By the way, I feel you, because anyone that was pregnant during 2020, I feel like this bond with, because it was such an insane time to be carrying a baby.
Was it your first?
No.
Okay, got it.
My second. But totally different
Oh, of
experience,
course.
right? Like that time was so wild, but we went down for shooting. So by the time we got back up to shoot, I was done with my pregnancy. I just had first trimester on the show.
Wow.
But yes, but for you, that's not the case because shows were up and running by the time.
Yeah, we were
you gave birth,
first
right? Yeah.
shows back up and running. It was like we went back in September of 2020, and I was like 5 months pregnant. So it was a really precarious time to be going back to work because that was like
hard.
full
Yes.
PPE. You
Yeah.
know, like
Yes. Yeah.
people in like
Hazmat
like
suits.
hazmat suits
Hazmat.
and
Yeah.
and the goggles with the
Totally.
With your own little
shields
kit.
and masks and
Yeah.
and you're
Yeah.
you're sitting there like I'm like, wow, I felt so vulnerable being pregnant and
Yeah.
being unmasked and working and but also I
Yes.
was like, well, we're all getting tested, you know, multiple times a week. I guess this is the safest place to be. It's better than being home and just being anxious
Yeah.
and thinking about things all day. But yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Yes.
it's so strange to think back on now that was almost
It
4
is.
years
No,
ago.
it's like all a blur.
Well, when you talk about
It's
the
all a
return
blur.
to work, I think it's actually so interesting because I feel like top note question for women who are pregnant on shows, if you will, is like, what did you do when you were pregnant? Like, how did you hide it? Right. I feel like the far more important question was like, what happened once you going back to work after having a baby?
Yeah.
Like that whole, the negotiation, like at least they were all tucked in there and they were, you know, I'd carry charts and then as technology advanced, I'd be carrying iPads. The work quite as big. I'd be behind counters, but it was after having the baby, the return to work. So both of you returned to work post-pandemic with baby.
Yeah. How was it for you?
It was good that I was back at
Sure.
work, but like it was just I found it very intimidating.
Mm.
I you know, because it's like you don't want to on these shows you don't want to like make out with any I didn't want to like make out anyone because I was like, "Oh god, I'm going to bring it back. I have a newborn."
Oh,
like
yeah.
I was a little paranoid. But luckily on our show, by the way, there was like, you know, we had PPE that we had to wear on our show. It was almost like the safest
Oh,
set
for
to
sure.
be on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But, you know, so that was that for, yeah. But what about for you?
Yeah, I mean the fortunate part was I got about a month off, which I know doesn't sound like it's not a lot of time, but the privilege of being
Yeah.
able to bring your baby to work, I know is
Yeah.
it's truly a
yeah,
privilege that
wow.
most new parents, it's not even within the realm of possibility. So I'll just start with that the fact that I could bring my baby and I could nurse and he was there with me was amazing. And we only were back at work for about, I'd say like 2 months before we had our hiatus. And then, you know, I had a good like 3 months off or 4 months off before I had to go back to work for the next season. So it worked out pretty well. And I also feel really fortunate to have had like showrunners and a creator and like a support system at work of very incredibly understanding individuals who were all parents themselves who made it as easy and seamless as possible for me to be there, for Gus to be with me. And it was truly a dream. I was like, oh, so this is the way it can be. And you hear like those stories from other actors who are like, if you're lucky enough to be on a show that's running for multiple seasons, like that's when you should have a kid. If you're thinking about having a
this
family.
This reminds me of something, Camilla. What did I say to you?
This is why I got pregnant.
Really?
Honestly, I wouldn't have had kids unless Jessica Capshaw told me. No, she's the reason that I'm tired every day. And I've aged so much. Yes. No, Jessica was like, when I got on the show, she was like, psst, you have to have children on this show. Because it's Shondaland. And by the way, they're super, super amazingly
sure.
supportive. I do need to segue because, Mandy, I don't know if you know this, but we have had fans right into our podcast to ask us to help them. And we would love for you to help give some of our fans advice on some of their problems.
Oh my goodness. I will.
So the whole premise is
Right.
that we are, by the way, the premise, so don't feel too much pressure. The premise is that we are absolutely unlicensed to advise anyone.
Yeah. And we might be terrible.
I'm going to be optimistic again here and say we're going to be great at this. Who wants terrible advice, Camilla? This is not the way. Okay, so
I'm
the premise
just being
is
honest. Like I might say, wow, this is crazy.
she's a wild card a bit.
I love
And
it.
That's true. That's okay. She's a
You
little
guys
loud.
are a perfect yin and yang to each other.
There we go. There we go.
Yes,
So the
exactly.
point
Thanks,
is
Mandy.
that the premise is that we so love helping each other and solving each other's problems that we are creating a bigger friendship circle that you are now part of.
Oh.
And we have asked people to also join us in their, in their travels. And so we've had we've had quite a few. We're super lucky
We've had thousands apparently
to write
This
in.
is crazy.
And so
Yes.
we're going to give them our 2 cents. But are you up for it?
I'm game. I'll try my best.
Let's go.
And then the
go.
idea is that we're gonna call it what it is, with love and kindness and as much grace and compassion as is possible in the world. All of it.
I love it.
Okay. Are you guys
Yes,
ready?
ma'am.
This is the first one.
This is the first one. Emily French. Okay, she wrote us on Instagram. She DM'd us and she said, "Hi, ladies. I have a question for y'all's podcast. I was wondering what advice you have for healing after a breakup. I recently broke up with my girlfriend of 4 years. It was my first relationship and so my very first ever heartbreak. And I lost my mom to cancer when I was a teenager, and navigating with this without any motherly advice has been difficult. Thank you so much."
Oh, man.
Emily, well, first off, I lost my mom when I was a teenager too. So I understand what it's like to sort of not be able to pick up the phone and be like, "Mom, what do I do?" However, even without that, I will say that you can kick heartbreak in the butt. You can handle this like a boss. I read a book, you guys, when I went through my I don't know how old you guys were when you had like your first love heartbreak. I was about 22 and I ordered a book it's called A Breakup Because It's Broken. Jessica, you're friends with this
I do.
author.
I know them. I knew them when they were writing it. Yes.
Wow.
It's the best book for a heartbreak ever.
Greg and Amira.
It makes you like love it. I loved it so much that I remember this moment, you guys. I was reading it and my ex was calling me. And usually I would have been like, "Oh my God," and pick up. And I remember, and I'm being like, this is working. I hit decline on my phone and just continued reading. And I was like, oh,
Freedom.
I'm getting over it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I love that. I see that. And I go full nosedive into the sad. I go,
Really? Like you embrace the sad.
Oh, I literally
You
wear
lean
black.
in.
Like until I'm done with the morning.
Oh, you're in mourning.
Morning. It's
Interesting.
I think that I skew a little avoidant. Typically, my normal flight pattern is avoidant when things get a little rough. And so when something
Interesting.
truly does completely devolve and break apart, I actually think that is when I feel the freedom to be like, I'm going to feel all of it. I'm just going to lean into this terrible feeling and know that I always say this, but I think it's because it's true. It's that everything will be okay in the end. And if it's not okay, it's not the end. And so I sort of just allow myself to be swallowed by it. And it has served me well because when I'm done with the morning, I really am done. So I like the sadness. So Emily, feel the heartbreak. If someone was in your life for that long, they were important. So, and I hate that idea that, that when something's over, that it was a waste. I truly do think that we're a sum of our experiences. And I think that heartbreak can be actually an incredibly nutritive thing. And sometimes you have to break things apart to put them back together in a stronger way. So that'd be mine.
So beautiful and such a great prescription. I was thinking similarly, just that it's unfortunate and it's not what you want to hear in the moment while you're in the midst of wallowing in just utter sadness and but it is for a reason, and it is so informative moving forward of what you want, what you don't want, what you deserve, what you don't deserve. It's the unfortunate part of life. We have to have that experience and feel broken in order to be able to pick up the pieces and move forward. And it's it clearly it wasn't the thing. It wasn't meant for you, and something else out there will be. And it's hard to sort of digest all of that, I think, in the moment, but it will all be for a reason moving forward.
I used to tell myself that this is what used to help me too. I used to tell myself The guy that is going to fall in love with you and be the one is at Starbucks right now somewhere ordering a drink. And I know it's so silly, but like it helped me to feel like that's what he's doing right now. And he's wondering when he's going to find his girl. And I'm the girl. We just haven't found each other yet. So I used to use like my little Starbucks analysis.
That's very Nora Ephron. I love it.
It's not him. And whoever it is, they're at Starbucks right now. And I need to be patient and find them because they're waiting for me too.
I also think, you know what, I think it's funny because I was talking to someone recently who was going through this. And I've said this a couple times, but I think it's because it's so true. I had someone call me. It was like really devastated, crying. And I said, you know what? At least this is what's true for me. Every person who broke my heart, I truly felt like if it was 5 days later, 5 weeks later, 5 years, 10 years, whatever, you will write them a thank you note. And you don't know when you're going to realize that the thank you note's going to come. It could take you 5 days, 5 weeks, 5 years, whatever. But one day there's going to be a thank you note that you write that person for breaking your heart. Because if they hadn't broken your heart, you wouldn't have gone on to the path that you went on to.
Sure.
That landed you where you are.
Yeah.
And I think that the gratitude piece for me has always been like the baseline for understanding and creating joy. And I love living in joy. Like clearly, obviously, nobody wants to live in pain. But I think maybe that's like the thing that comes with me is like I either go full pain or full joy. But the gratitude helps get me there. So again, that's another one for the heartbreak.
Have you guys thought about like that moment where your kid grows up and you're gonna have to re-experience heartbreak through them?
You mean like when someone breaks my kid's heart and I kill them?
I think about this. Yeah, and you guys,
this happens like at school when a kid picks on my kid.
Ugh.
I know. I'm thinking, the first time I see my son or my daughter go through heartbreak, I don't know if I'm going to have any chill. Like in this moment, I can have like chill, but I don't. Mandy, do you ever think about this with your sons?
I haven't thought that far ahead because they're so little still. I'm like, I haven't wrapped my head around that.
Mandy, we like to close it out with rapid fire questions.
Oh, okay.
And by we like to close it out means you're our first guest, and this is the first time we're doing rapid fire questions.
Yeah, like we've done 100 times.
Happy to be the guinea pig.
This is our tradition that we've just. This is our first. Yeah, I'm acting like it's a tradition we've done for like 5 years.
I just want to say, and it's not because I'm trying to ingratiate myself into your number one position, but this has just been such a pleasure, and I'm so grateful that you're our first.
I know,
guys.
You're the best first. Seriously.
I had no idea. I'm so honored. This was such a blast. You both are delightful. I can't choose. I'm just truly going to be the third wheel.
I hadn't even asked
If you're
yet.
looking for a third host,
Okay, that's fine. We'll accept
I'm
it.
available anytime. I'll just come and jump in and
Yes.
help out whenever. I'm not great with advice,
Please.
but I'll just chime in whenever you
I
need
thought
me.
you were.
I thought you were
I
great.
did too. I thought you were too.
I loved that advice. I thought that was great.
All
Okay.
right, Camilla, you go first.
Okay, I'll go first. Sour Patch Kids. I just went to the movie theaters. This is where this came from. Sour Patch Kids or Swedish Fish?
Oh, Sour Patch Kids.
Heels or flats?
Flats.
Favorite holiday?
Oh, Halloween.
Oh,
Me too.
You guys might be besties.
Me too. Love it.
How do you like your eggs?
Scrambled.
Did you go to sleepaway camp as a kid?
Yes.
Was it the best?
Yes. It is like this is a memory that I'm so excited for my kids to have.
Was it stage door?
Yes.
Oh. I want my daughter to go so bad.
If my kids are remotely interested in musical theater, I'm going to send them as well. It was like the greatest time of my life.
She won't do the sleepaway.
I love this.
I get it.
She won't. Yeah,
It is
intense.
intense.
I know.
Do you remember how old you were when you
I
first did
was
it?
11. I was young, but
That feels like a good age. That feels like a.
But I get it. I hope my kids are like, I just want to stay home with you, Mom.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'd be fine with
Yes,
that.
please. Until
She went once, and that's why she won't go again, because she actually reported she missed me too much. It was actually, it became it was painful longing as opposed to just normal longing. I don't know.
That is.
I know. And
pretty
you can't
dreamy.
really, I know. And you can't turn around and be like, no, kid, go for the painful longing.
Never have to leave me again.
Never. Oh,
Yes.
but you're reminding me of Tangled. which you lived in my house for a very long time, just so we're clear.
Sorry about that.
Tangled. You're so good in that. The fact that you can convey what you conveyed with your voice on an animated character. I mean, truly, I don't.
Thank you.
Oh, no. It was real. It was so real. And it went on for so long.
That's
Okay,
annoying.
I do have to ask this. I'm desperate to ask this because one of my friends on Instagram is a Disney adult, which is an adult that loves Disney, right? So now everything on my Instagram, like the feed, like the algorithm prompts all the Disney. Okay, so Tokyo Disney has a Tangled ride.
I saw.
Right? Okay, so have you done it? And I want to know, like, I just want to know really quick. When you go to Disneyland, are you like carried around the world? Like, what is the experience?
It's even more than cut the line.
I can't imagine that.
I have not.
Float to the front of the line.
Yes. Even more than the VIP guide.
I have not been to Tokyo Disney. That is a bucket list. In fact, Zach Levi, who's in Tangled as well, we were both texting about it. Like, this is so cool. We need
Otherwise
to go.
known as Flynn Rider.
Otherwise known as Flynn Rider. But no, I mean, I think if you are fortunate enough to be in the Disney family, and you guys have been on an ABC show and the Grey's Anatomy universe, so there is the lovely perk of getting the occasional tour guide at Disney. I wouldn't say that being a princess is too different. Maybe I'm not like, maybe I'm not a cool enough princess. Maybe I'm not Frozen or something, but like, yeah,
I think we can work on this for you.
You're iconic.
I'm not complaining.
No, I don't hear complaining. I'm just saying there might be room for improvement.
If I could bring the boys, and have a tour guide, I am deeply, deeply grateful. But other than that, no, it's pretty.
Yeah. Okay. I personally don't think you should have to walk.
Yeah. Should just
I think
float.
they should just be carrying you.
That's the fun of Disney, though. I'm one of those Disney adults where I just I geek out at a theme park. I'm from Orlando. I think it's like just in my DNA. I love I love scooting around. I want to wear the Mickey ears. I want the churro. I want the candy
All of
out.
it.
The whole
The
experience.
whole thing.
Yeah.
Mandy, thank you so much for being here
Thank
today.
you for having me. This is
The fans are all going to
Oh
be
my gosh.
delightful. You
Can't
guys
wait.
are so much fun. I could talk to you all day.
Will you come back on?
Anytime. Yes.
Really? Okay.
Count me in.
All right. And we won't make you choose.
No,
ever
no,
again
no.
Between the two of us, we've agreed on a throuple.
I'm happy to be in a throuple with you guys.
Love it. Success.
I know. This is such winning all
You guys
around.
need a brunette. You need a brunette in a throuple.
Mandy, we love you. And if I pass you at Disneyland and you're walking, I'm going to complain.
We'll join groups. Congrats on the podcast, guys. Aw,
All right.
thanks, ladies.
Goodbye. Have a fantastic
Thank you,
day.
guys.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. She's awesome. I'm glad she didn't
She's
pick between
incredible.
us as best friends because I would have been very jealous if I had been jealous.
We didn't force that because it was just it was an organic throuple.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we sent out the bat signal. I'm still going to describe it that way for you guys to contact us. And we have literally had thousands of messages. And I have to tell you guys, I'm so deeply touched. Jessica and I were reading through some of them yesterday.
And reading every single one of them.
Reading all of them. I don't care how long it's going to take. We're going to go through all of them. And people are really pouring out their hearts and they're getting vulnerable in our DMs. And I love you guys already. I'm already feeling the Call It community like coming together.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's so fantastic. And I think that it really is a testament to how vulnerability is one of the strongest choices you can make in your life, right? Because you're going to stay stuck if you don't open up and let people help. And so again, here we are ready to wrap our arms around any problem.
Yes.
I hope we were helpful. I hope we were helpful in that one. I do think 3 different perspectives on how to deal with it, right?
Yes, and I think that there'll be more breakup questions along the way. And by the way, you guys can literally DM us about anything. And I'm talking about like, do you have a possession in your house? Are your objects moving? Is there paranormal activity? We will literally figure out how to unsummon a demon if we need to. But no, I'm sure we'll have more breakup, questions, because it's something that we all go through in life, and we're going to get into it in different ways with different answers, and you're going to hear more of our experiences. But already it was just so nice to feel like we were having this communication with you guys.
Well, also, it's just, the answers are not going to be one size fits all, but hopefully through hearing us talk about it, you will absolutely know you are not alone. This is something that happens to everyone. You don't get to participate in life without having your heart broken at least once, if not many times.
You guys, we're going to wrap it up today.
I love being here with you. This is fantastic.
I know, and I love that it's not just us. It really does feel like our little friendship circle that's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And we can't wait to
grateful.
Hop back on with you guys next time. We will be tackling another question from somebody. Again, DM us, call us, email us, give us all the details in the world. If you want to stay anonymous, let us know. We won't even say a name. And we're gonna tackle it all head on.
And just remember that without you, it would just be Camilla and I here talking. So thank you. Thank you for being here. And we also know that you have a lot of choices in the podcast that you listen to. There are so many out there. Yes. So thank you for taking this time to be with us. We are so grateful, and we are so excited for more and more and more and more and more.
Hey friends, we wanted to add a little extra note at the end of this episode because something very special happened after we recorded. Mandy Moore came out and revealed that she is pregnant with baby number 3. And
this is not only exciting for many, many, many reasons, but mostly because I think she's going to have to come back, right?
She's going to have to come back.
Yeah, we're going to have to talk about this. I mean, because we are her besties. I'm not sure how she can get away with not talking to us about that. Anyways, so excited for her. A million congratulations. And I guess let's call it
a new pregnancy.